Hi Sages, and welcome to your November 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about the energies coming in for your sign in the month of November. Welcome Sages, I hope that you are feeling well this month. I know that there is a bit of tension coming up as you are coming back to your time of the year. You are going through your collective 12th house in the beginning of November, so there is a lot of unconscious desires and subconscious experiences to navigate. And I want you guys to be confident because things will get so much more energetic and more, fiery back to your first house energy later this month. Congratulations to those of you who are aging up at the end of November. Happy birthday. And of course, we will be talking more about your season in December. I feel a lot of different things coming in for Sag this month. I'm feeling that what you do process here and now is very helpful to getting you back on track. It kind of feels like you got, not necessarily off track, but you went down a few paths, it feels like this entire year, that have kind of maybe frustrated you or been difficult. Jupiter, your ruling planet, has been in its debilitated sign of Capricorn this year, so this is one of the tougher years in a 12-year cycle for Sag, but don't worry because it is almost concluding. So we've got about another full month and a half of Jupiter in Capricorn. It's going into Aquarius mid-December, and we will feel much better as Sagittarius people with Jupiter in Aquarius. It's such a nice relieving energy for Sagittarius. But we've got a little bit of work to do before we get there. This is kind of like that last mile in the marathon. This is like that last 100 miles in the 3,000-mile road trip. It's tiring, it's starting to get difficult, it's starting to get frustrating to feel so stuck and kept in one place, but you know that you're about to get where you're going, and you know that you're about to have some awesome new experiences. So let's talk about thriving here and now in November, Sages. So I love that Three of Wands and Judgment is coming up for you in the tarot spread. You are seeing new horizons, you are seeing again that prosperity and potential that is awaiting for you on the horizon. You're making a few decisions, it feels like, in November, and you're also going to really get your sense of value in order to. You've got Five of Pentacles reversed as your only reversal, so any scarcity mindset is going to be now seen differently. You're going to start to value yourself in a new way and give to yourself the experiences that are needed throughout your creativity, throughout your generosity, and throughout your quick-mindedness, or the capability of your mind with Queen of Swords and Knight of Swords coming up. You're getting much more sharp, much more precise. And this precision is really going to help you to level up quickly, because Sagittarius is such an expansive, fun energy. You know, it's a bigger is better type of energy, always trying to gain new knowledge, new perspective. And throughout all of that quest for knowledge and perspective, Sagittarius in this type of year can get a bit sloppy. And that's fine. It's not bad. Every sign has a time where there's a potential for that. But I think that the end of November, towards the end of the month, getting back into your season will get you back into a precise and refined ability to collect and have what you need. So ultimately, it's just basically like coming back to a level of precision, coming back to a level of organization as well at the end of this month. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the week-to-week Sages. So first week of November, you have Queen of Wands rooted down by Seven of Wands. So starting the month off very fiery, kind of, just sitting with your purpose still yet, sitting with your desires, seeing what does creatively inspire you. You can also feel a little bit opposed, and I felt this as I was meditating on your energy today, Sag. I felt like there was conflict, or I felt like there was a tug of war. I felt like on one hand you had this one thing that you were so excited to pursue, and many people supported that, but I also felt that there might be like this one person that kind of tried to convince you that your own desires or your own purpose is not real or not true. And you got to watch out for that, and you got to not build that up, and you've got to try your best not to give that too much influence. Because what can be threatened in the tail end of this year is the optimism of a Sagittarius, or the ability to maintain their own purpose and their own motivation regardless of the opinions of others. And it's kind of like you might be thinking of the opinions of others more than you need to. And the first week of November is going to really show that and is going to really reward you for being of your own mind and of your own purpose. Seven of Wands can be about being on higher ground and feeling like there's a sense of opposition or tug of war. And Queen of Wands is about creative solutions. So I think that you're going to solve this sense of tug of war. I think you're going to start to make decisions perhaps about who you're holding space for in your life. And are you rewarding people for giving you a tough psychological time with your own purpose? Are you rewarding people for punishing your own sense of autonomy? You've got to watch out for that for sure. Week number 2, you've got the Five of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by Three of Wands. So you are not satisfied with some source of what used to be value in your life. So a previous source of value, this could be an old job, this could be something that you've been consistent with for a long time that is now starting to feel like a hassle. Okay, something is a bit of a hassle and it needs to be seen in the second week so you can start to innovate and get creative around it. Already by the second week of November, you start to get a better sense, a more refined, precise sense of how you can build off of what you have while not feeling like you are a servant to it, without feeling like the progress that you've made or or what you've built owns you, essentially. You are going to reclaim ownership over what you have built and make it your own, it feels like. Also, I feel that you could overspend money, so watch out for that in the second week. Watch out for impulse spending, impulse in general. Beware of it. Five of Pentacles is always a sign to watch out for impulse. It can also mean that we're catching up financially or we're catching up energetically as well. Maybe you need to rest a little bit more in the second week. Maybe you need to really sit with your thoughts and just enjoy the messages that Source is giving to you. And watch out for coping. Watch out for coping through spending or coping through some type of expenditure. This could be like coping through exercise, coping through money spending, coping through scarcity mindset or something like that. You've got to really watch out for this whole scarcity mindset. I've seen this in a few Sagittarius people, which is not like this sign. And it always makes sense with so much Capricorn energy, and especially your ruling planet being in Capricorn. And Capricorn is much more a sign of limitation and scarcity. So this isn't going to last much longer, but you're definitely going to be called in this month overall to work on that. And if you're seeing it in yourself, like, I just can't have both. I just can't have this career and this, relationship. I just can't have, these accomplishments as well as this new path. I just can't have them both. Really watch out for that, Sag. And it's not, because your sign is different about this. There aren't many Sagittarius people who will just, talk about not being able to have both or openly embrace limitations. But I'm feeling that deep, deep, deep down, Sagittarius really is starting to come to certain conclusions that basically equate to their current context being incompatible with their purpose. And I think that is not what Sagittarius is about. And Sagittarius is about expanding past those limitations. And maybe you don't do that right this second, but if you notice at any time that you're allowing yourself to accept that your current context is incompatible with your purpose, I think it's so great as a Sagittarius to get into that Three of Wands mode and see this as a experiment to pioneer, or as a just another path of life that you can learn so much more through. Because Sagittarius as a sign is not in and of itself about accomplishments or about victories, but it's about the concepts that we gain on the path a lot. And oftentimes those things are rewarded and are given accolade. It's like the ninth house energy. Some astrologers, I think, put a little bit too much into the whole ninth house rewards, being honored, being recognized, being seen. That is more so 10th house. And ninth house is about the conceptual growth and philosophical expansion, and sometimes academic expansion too, that we receive on the path. So great time for academics though, I'm feeling. And as you're moving into the third week of November, It feels like you might be having like an academic transformation. So I've definitely gotten some downloads about Sagittarius, like taking new classes, new tutorials, new academic experiences, engaging academia in a new way. That's very possible for this sign, especially moving into 2021, but it's good to start getting that set up now. The third week of November is about generosity of spirit. Okay, so we go straight from like scarcity mindset in the second week to generosity of spirit in the third week. It's a bit of a test, I think. You could have somebody from your past come back in. Mercury has been retrograde in Scorpio, and it went direct on November 3rd, but it's really starting to get moving and heading towards your sign. In that third week, it's heading towards Sagittarius. It's not quite there yet. But as it applies to your sign, you could see that you're thinking about the past, or you're thinking about what judgment you need to make. Is there someone you need to reach out to? Is there someone you need to communicate with? It might not be who you think it is. It might be a seemingly quite benign person in all of this. But it feels like there needs to be some kind of olive branch, or there needs to be some kind of connective idea within a certain something that was taken from you, or something that was disconnected from. Feels like it needs a new connective point. Okay, and that's not going to be right for everybody. It doesn't mean reach out to the ex necessarily. It doesn't mean, try to make something that is now lifeless, animated again. But there could be some of that for Sagittarius. I think really with judgment, it is about finally healing from something, finally not blaming yourself, or not casting some kind of guilt onto yourself. I've kind of felt that Sagittarius is putting themselves through something pretty harsh over the last few months. Like if you made an error, or if you made a mistake, or if you are kind of blaming yourself for something that went bad, it feels like you might have punished yourself by eating a lot, or you might have punished yourself by starting to gain that scarcity mindset. And really watch out for that. Is this scarcity mindset, or this dietary issue, or this anything that's a problem right now? Okay, anything that's a problem right now is very likely a sort of self-imposed punishment for having been impulsive, recklessly spoken, or now seemingly inadequate in the past. So there's an importance placed on self-forgiveness in the third week of November for Sag, getting right at the cusp of your season. And a super huge importance to quickly recognize what is self-imposed punishment. This is so important for Sag. It took 12 minutes into this reading to get here, but I'm getting major chills. Wow. So self-imposed punishment, very common for everybody with this triple Capricorn direct conjunction that we have now, but especially Sagittarius. It has to be seen. Okay. And I know this reading, we're kind of going into some heavier things, and I can guarantee you guys that pretty much most likely all of next year's readings for Sagittarius will be like extremely expansive and optimistic, because you are going to get the equal and opposite reaction for this. That's how physics work in this world. So for this difficult year, you'll get a really, really neat year next year, I think. But we got to deal with some things here. A self-punishing, self-effacing person deprives themselves of nice experiences a lot. And we have to get out of that now, so you're not depriving yourself of what 2021 has to offer. So how can we do that? I think it's all here in this spread. I think that you got to get really clear on how things actually were. So fourth week of November, Queen of Swords rooted down by Knight of Swords. You go from that third week where you're like seeing the truth of everything, and you're having a wake-up call, having a new conclusion drawn over what's happened. And then the fourth week comes in, and there's all of that Swords court energy. So on one hand, it could be a helpful person, like a therapist or someone helping you to decipher this, but I actually think it's more so of you and you. I don't think that it has to be an outside person, but it could be for some. It feels like you're going to get all the facts in order. You're going to know who you were. You're going to know who they were. You're going to know the setting, the environment, the set of problems, the set of issues that came up, and you're going to be able to decipher and discern what actually happened. And through that, you can more adequately prescribe blame, and you're going to be surprised it's not so much about you as you thought. So you're going to get a really clear window into how sometimes the human consciousness can be very self-effacing and self-blaming and imposing of self-punishment without realizing over a set of facts that have not yet been really gone over or concluded upon. So because maybe we've seen abusive relationships in the past and we saw that maybe we were in a relationship that had similar components, we can think, okay, that's all my fault that I was in that situation. And even though I've not really processed all of that and I've not gone through all of the cause and effect of all of that, I will go ahead and start, binge eating, or I will go ahead and start, spending out of my future without realizing that I'm doing that because I haven't coped from that abusive relationship yet. And I think that there's been a lot of that going on for a lot of this year for Sagittarius without having even gone through all the cause and effects yet, without having even processed through. So yeah, Sagittarius, November of 2020 is looking like a process month. It's looking like a precise understanding of the chain of events and cause and effect that you went through. And it's looking like you are gearing up to really say some truth and to really be honest with yourself and to really start to get healthier because of it, like going into your season. I feel like it's a bit of a mission for you guys, okay? I feel like there's a mission for Sagittarius to filter through, to process through, understand what is and is not the case, really get clear on any tough habits. So if there's been any type of disordered eating or any type of disordered spending, it's along those lines that I'm feeling that you would see this if this is an issue for you. It's not going to be an issue for every single Sag. And always at this time, it's still okay for Sag to maybe get therapy or to maybe have like a nutritionist or have a endocrinologist or something. If you're feeling any kind of weird health problems, whether it's, just in the physical sense or in the mental sense, these things are very connected, usually always. It's good to seek assistance because there is a lot of court card here. So Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords, and Queen of Wands. And I'm feeling that these are people who are knowledgeable that are around you. It's not feeling so much like friends to me. It's not feeling so much like relatives. It's feeling more so like professionals. So with business sense, this could be getting like that great accountant. This could be getting that great advisor as an academic. This could also be as someone who's struggling with health, getting that great doctor or getting that great nutritionist or something. It does feel like there's a professional presence in Sagittarius life in November, and don't fear that, Sag. Sometimes Sag wants to do everything themselves. I'm the smart, philosophical, intelligent, always learning sign, a Sagittarius. I'm going to do this all myself. I'm going to get into that DIY mode and I'm going to fix all my own problems. Then not in a year like this. You are really good at that next year. The Aquarian energy really alchemizes things in a way that gets you, really in control of your destiny. But in a Capricorn year like this, for Sagittarius, that semi-sextile angle, as well as your planet being in its debilitated sign, it's good to have a small dose of expert opinion. Now, you don't want to get too reliant on people outside of yourself. That's also a possibility. It's all about a balance. You don't want to outsource every aspect of your life and put your life in the hands of other controlling people completely. But here and there, little by little, we decipher and discern what we need to have control over ourselves and what we need to ask for help on. Great, incredible to see Sagittarius really getting a conclusive sense of what that looks like, what Sagittarius itself just needs control over, and what it wants to ask for help with. Awesome month for Sagittarius to start to learn new things, to get new classes, new mentors, new teachers, something like that, because there needs to be some kind of change. Not even really actually not bad for you guys to plan a move or to plan some kind of something for the future, especially. I don't think you need any huge drastic changes right this second, but for those of you who are collegiate, like planning the next semester, even like a change in school or a change in job is not bad for the future. Okay, you can start considering that because I do really feel like something is a little bit off in the current setup for Sag, and it would be for every single Sag. It's not an easy transitory year. I think Sag has the most difficult time energetically this year. So every sign goes through a year that's tough. Sag has had a great period of the last few years. It doesn't mean the last few years have been perfect for every Sag, but there were a lot of energetic opportunities over about the last, actually about the last 8 years for Sagittarius. So it's just the way of the universe. We have positive years and negative years. And if you've thrived as a Sagittarius this year, congrats. You probably have some really, really great progressions as a person that have helped you through. But anyway, Sag, if you want to hear a little bit more about this, I'm going to put an extended reading together on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for being here on YouTube. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn on bell notifications. Your likes and comments make my day. Give me some feedback. Let me know how the reading resonated. Let me know how you're doing. I always look at the feedback and apply experiences to the reading to grow as a reader. And yes, be sure to jump over to Patreon for the extended. I do early and ad-free readings over there. I do weekly forecasts just as a bonus piece for everybody who has a Patreon subscription. All the Patreons get the weekly tea chats. So I'll link that in the center of the screen as well as below. Thank you so much, Sag. Let's jump over to Patreon for the extended now.